If you're interested in making patches, surely you've heard of the Merrow edge. And the Merrow family has been in business since 1838. They've made gunpowder, they've made socks, and they're best known these days for the edge that they make with a Merrow machine. Now, they have machines set up that do more than just edge patches. I knew someone that had a Merrow machine that was set up for making fur mittens. So they have many purposes. But as far as we're concerned for edging a patch, these are some samples direct from their site, and you can see that each of their machines can be set up differently. Different widths, different threads make a difference. Um, how close the stitches are. So some of it is the way the operator sets up, but some of it is the way that the machine itself is set up. And if you want to get a true Merrow effect with a embroidery machine, do we need to go as far as over sewing like they have to do? Most people don't do that. We just, with our embroidery machine, we just kind of stop where it meets up. Well, I've been playing with a new stitch, and let me get on True View so that you can see what I'm up to. And I'll, excuse me, I'll hide everything and we'll take it a step at a time. So my guides are here, but you may not know what guides you need until you start in drawing and you want to line everything up. So let's unlock this one. And the stitch player will help me demonstrate what the stitches do. So this one is going to begin, let me tell it right. I've done it so many different ways. So this one started on the right, took a stitch over, and then one stitch back again, but not all the way to the end. When you're designing pattern stitches, pattern runs, they need to begin and end on the same plane. So that's what I'm shooting for. So I consider that first one in this particular stitch just kind of my marker, just to kind of keep me in line. Now for the next one, hide this one. When I've done these in the past, now I've been designing stitches since 1993, when the Bernina 1630 came out. I was designing hem stitches that could be used in heirloom sewing. And the way we worked back then, there wasn't even instructions as far as drawings that we could work with. So I had hand drawn one so that I could teach. But we would draw on one side of the screen and send it to the other side, and that's the one that the sewing machine would read, and I would plot my stitches, and that way I could teach others how to do the same thing. So we didn't have a feather stitch that was built in at that time, so this is how we would plot it. And then everything ended up on the same line so that it would continue, same line here. Bernina then, for that 1630 machine, came out with software. The first version was just DOS. It wasn't even window, it didn't have a window appearance to it. I think this is version 2. But that's what we were doing, was designing stitches that a sewing machine could sew out. And so in most of my stitches that I have done, I'm pulling on that background And I would actually plot each stitch back and forth, back and forth. But I saw a video by Luiz of Victor Digitizing, and he was using the block digitizing tool to create a block of stitches, and that was a great time saver. And so I thought, well, I want to try one like that rather because it's so difficult to get these lined up just perfectly and spaced just perfectly. But the block tool took care of that for me. So I have ended this first line here, and I'm ready for the block tool. And so when I turn on, so this one you would start drawing here, go across, bounce back. I found I did need a center, bounce across, and it creates ladder rungs across your shape, and that's your stitch direction. Now, something I'm seeing in this that I want to take care of now, there are 2 extra stitches that I don't want. And I don't know why they form, but they tend to form right at the end. And so to take care of that, I'm going to go into my stitch edit tool. You can also touch E on your keyboard. But now I'll be able to select that one and delete it, and then it bounces right to the next one, and I'll delete that. And now let's see if I've still got, and I still have my finishing stitch. So I don't know why it forms those, but it does. Okay, and then the third part of this stitch, and hide all. So the middle part began here, bounced back and forth, and ended here. So my last one to finish everything off, let's see if it'll let me get right in there, 0. And I'm going to take the thread off. So my spokes ended here. And what I did then is I went to the digitizing run again. And I went ahead and gave it another color. If I want to go back and tweak any of these, it's easy because they're in separate colors. So with it ending here, and I've selected my straight stitch. Now also notice that I have changed this length to 10 millimeters because I don't want those extra stitches going across. The default is about 2.5. And I think that's kind of what happened here, but I don't know why it occurred to finish that up. Anyway, so I want to be sure that the stitches that I am making are point-to-point stitches. So I'll bounce here, come out, back out to my final where I want some overlap. So I had decided that my stitch would be this wide. I think I did 4, and then 1, 2, 3 to end. And so even though these are in separate pieces, and even though they're all different colors, the pattern creator will still make this into a single stitch. And let me show you. Oh, let's watch it run first. Let's be sure it's going to set up like I want. And I have it set to show me, I'm in Wilcom, and it allows me to show where I've got stops, and it's got some color stops. So then these run. All right. And then my last one. Let's see what it does. So it's going to end here. Let me look at that one more time to see if I haven't messed up my thinking. I have. So this one, I really need it to stop over here. So let's alter that. Not sure it's going to let me get just that one. May just redraw it. Let's do that. Okay, so we know this one ended here. And now to get my closing stitch, I'm going to select another color, select the straight stitch tool, go to my outlines, make sure that I've still got a length of 10 millimeters. Everything checks out. Okay, so I'm going to begin drawing here. That's why I had kind of locked things down. Okay. Select my stitch. We'll come here. It's not drawing for me. Let's try that one. Okay. I consider this stitch now is to kind of wrap those threads together so that it will look like, give the appearance of a merrow edge holding the loops of thread. So can you see those turn kind of red? That's how I know that I'm getting where I need to be. All right, now I want to go out to my full 3 millimeter that I've got set up here. But I still want to be on this same plane. So it's there. Bounce out. And I need to stop on that left-hand side and hit enter. Okay. Yeah, and once you sew, if you feel like that's not enough thread through there, you could bounce it another couple of times. I think we need to look at it and see first. And I've tested it. I think I have added another 2 stitches on that side. And it's all personal preference. If it just depends on how it looks to you once it's sewing. And then by leaving this in the 3 colors, you can get in there and fix it. Okay, so let's I need to unlock everything. Okay. And we'll go to Object, Create Motif, and this is going to tell me I already have one, but that's okay. And I want this to run to the center, so I'm going to begin here. And I'm actually going to start on this side because that's where I began. I'm going to hold control so that this lines up fairly even. And it's been created. Okay, let's touch one and let's get rid of this grid and draw a circle and see what we get. Holding control will give you an exact. And I want to have another color for this. Let's do that. And just like you would select any grouping, I used a lowercase on that one. And it's going to the outside. So in Bernina, what you would do is take your motif and flip it 180 and then place your stitches again. In Wilcom, what we can do is go to reverse and reverse the curve. And the components I found I liked. X is the width of the stitch, Y is the height, and then the spacing will reduce the gaps. That's about right. And let's watch it sew. Nice. So this one's going to sew clockwise. And that gives me just a little bit of a gap, but yet covers well on the edge. And every time I do one, I make a different change. You're going to just have to play with it and see what you like to have in a stitch. Thanks for watching.